Welcome, viewers, to Midnight Coffee with Faisal, the Masterclass series on on project management. Yeah. So, what we're going to talk about tonight is that we're going to talk about the challenges. Yeah, the challenges faced by many project managers. There are many project managers in leading their projects. So it's not just project manager; it can be a project leader, or it can be even a project sponsors. Yeah, we're going to talk about how they were the challenges they face and resulting in a lot of conflicts and making tough decisions. So tonight we will be talking about how do we go about resolving conflicts and decisions during this masterclass. Okay, for those who are joining us live, please shout out in the box as to where you are viewing this live stream from. Yeah, we would like to hear. Yeah, we would like to hear from you as to where you are viewing this from, and if you have any other challenges that you would like to share with us, please note it in the comment or send it a telegram message to the number that is to the link provided in the channel, and you are able to interact. We are able to interact and take up your challenges if there's any. Yeah, and for those who are viewing this first time, viewing this first time, welcome. Welcome, and as the show is all about, it's a midnight coffee with Faisal, and that's my name. And I am an independent management consultant. Yeah, I'm an independent management consultant and a business project management coach. Yeah, that helps clients to actually implement solutions, because a lot of businesses now, they are facing a lot of challenges ever since this pandemic. And project management is not new. Yeah, project management has been in existence for a long period of time. Yeah, and it is made famous, so to speak, by during the scientific management era, as the evolution of management theory goes through. Project management comes in, to help organizations to resolve their business concerns. Yeah. So what happened now is that with the pandemic, the whole world faced a pandemic, and we're still not out of it yet. The pandemic has disrupted a lot of businesses around the world. Yeah, the whole world is facing the same issues. So organizations are looking for new business model to stay afloat and to produce the desired results. And with the disruption in the normal processes, so BAU, or business as usual, is no longer is no longer usual. Yeah, so organization needs to look at a new management model in terms of how to deliver the design business model to achieve the desired result. So project management has taken a center stage now, because it provides organization with an approach, an approach where organization can be more adaptive and more agile in delivering their businesses. Yeah, so this is where project management has taken the center stage. And if you have reviewed in my previous episodes, you would see the more description or more detailed discussions on project management and work and all those things. Yeah, all right. So, what we're going to do is that we're going to talk about what are the key challenges that may, I wouldn't say key, one of the many challenges that the project manager face. Yeah. So, if most of the project managers that I come across, and in fact, couple of weeks ago, yeah, including a couple of weeks ago, I was having coaching with the C level and all those things. I noticed that they surface a lot of issues, yeah, and some of the issues that they face resulted in conflicts, and I've discussed this in my previous episodes on time conflict. Yeah, conflict of schedule, and I've we've even discussed and put forward some suggestion as to how to manage the time more effectively and more efficiently. So you can click on the previous episodes, which is in the link below, and run through the resolution for conflict in schedule and time. All right. But other than that, there are also conflicts that faced by project managers. Apart from time, yeah, a part of time is also resources. That means when you talk about time is also a resource for any projects, but we talk about resource, talk about facilities, you talk about equipment, you talk about people, but I wouldn't say people per se. Yeah, of course we talk about people, but it's more of a talent issue. Yeah, talent issue. So you have to make sure that you have the right talents. Yeah, and in resolving this conflict, when you talk about talents and when you talk about people, you will also have interpersonal conflicts that exist within the individuals within the group. So at the end of the day, as a project leader, as a project sponsor or project owner, you have to make decisions. I will cover decision making in the future masterclass. Yeah, please subscribe to my channel and please click on the notification button so that when I do up the decision making masterclass, you will be notified in due course. Yeah. Okay. Now, what we're going to talk about is the decision making by the project managers. Yeah. As I said, project leaders and project managers, I just use them synonymously. And project sponsors, they have to make tough decisions. And in making these tough decisions, they have to remember, at the end of the day, what this project is all about. Yeah, what this project is all about. Always, I've seen many project sponsors, project owners, project managers, or project leaders. They got confused between destination and journey. Yeah, they got confused between the destination and journey. Okay, that's why in my banner, I use the soccer game. I know there's a lot of soccer fans out there. Yeah, and why I use the soccer game as a metaphor, yeah, or as an analogy, because it's the same game, but it's a different player. So whether you're talking about in the 60s, whether you're talking about in the 70s, whether you talk about in the 80s, whether you talk about in the 90s, or whether you're talking about the 21st century, and now, for example, the game basically is the same. It's just that the players are different. Yeah, the players are different. The playbook is different, and the strategy of winning the game is also different. So you see that the game that is shown on the screen now. Yeah, yeah. You see that different. Is the game is still the same, but you will have different players from different club, from different origin, have to come and work together to collectively working as a team to win the game. Yeah, but again, have to remember that winning the game is not the destination. The destination can be, if you're talking about EPL, the English Premier League. Being the champion of EPL is the destination. You want to be the champion of the EPL. Or if you're talking about the Spanish league, or you talk about the European Cup, or you talk about World Cup, or you talk about from the local scene, the ASEAN Federation Cup, Suzuki Cup, or even up to a local scene where we talk about Malaysian League. You want to become the champion. So the destination is to become the champion. But the journey is that you will have a lot of games that you have to play. And I know some teams, some clubs, they intentionally lose a game. They intentionally lose a game so that they won't face a certain opponents, or sometimes they purposely lose the game to avoid meeting certain opponents, and they want to meet up with an opponent where they can confidently achieve higher number of goals or scores, so that their aggregate will increase, because the number of goals that you score will increase your aggregate in the league. So this is where as I said, the playbook, the strategy, and how you want to go about playing the game is different, but the game is still the same. It's still soccer. Whether it's in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the 21st century, it is still the same. Yeah, it's still the same. So when you talk about projects, it's the same thing. It's the same philosophy. You want to do a project, yeah? You want to do a project, you have to think of the destination. At the end of the day, what is it that you want to achieve? What you want this project to achieve? Yeah? And within the projects, you will have your small little battles or smaller projects, sub-projects that you need to complete for you to achieve the desired destination. And along the journey, you will be hit by crosswinds. Unexpectedly, you will have, like what we are facing, the whole world is facing COVID-19. And then with the current situation, you have so many variant that is coming up, and then vaccination, and you have the anti-vax, and then you have the politicians, and you have the normal people, and then you have the business entities. Everybody is screaming for a space. Yeah. And as a result, it affects the whole business landscape. It affects the political landscape. It affects the social landscape. It affects the technology landscape. And those days, although work from home has been being advocated by many long time ago, I remember way back in the 90s, I read it somewhere that a lot of companies are advocating working from home, but nobody wants to take it seriously until when we hit pandemic. And then the working from home, then you talk about all those things. That is the things that you need to put in place to support the working from home or hybrid working, or whatever terms that that you are using right now. Is it? At the end of the day, is merely tools. Technology are just enablers, but what I'm trying to get at is that whenever you have a problem, not say problem, when when you're faced with a challenge, when you face with a challenge in terms of managing your projects, always remember you have to make decisions. No project manager or project leader can run away from making decisions. I mean, I've lived a project life for more than 35 years. Yeah. And I've been involved in the project world for more than 35 years, not only here in Malaysia, but across the whole globe. Yeah, you can talk about France, I mean, in Europe or in US or in China, in Japan, in the UK, yeah, in the down under in Australia. I've been involved in multi-billion dollars worth of projects prior to this, and it is all about making decisions, making hard decisions to resolve the conflict. The conflict can be in terms of schedule conflict, it can be in terms of resource conflict, or it can be a people conflict, individual or conflict within the team, or in between two teams, yeah, intra-organization conflict, and the conflicts between organization, between the suppliers and the project team, and then from the project team and the customers, you will face conflicts all over the place. Yeah, and I will touch conflict in future sessions. Suffice to say that what we're going to discuss today is how do we resolve this? Yeah, how do we resolve this? So first, when you want to make a decision, you have to identify the challenges that you face. Is that which cluster does it fit in? Does it fit in? Is it a resource? Is it a conflict on resource, or a conflict on the environment that you are operating? Yeah. So if you're talking about an environment that you are operating and there is no way that you can change it, you cannot change the like what's happening now when there's lockdown all over the world. There's nothing that you can do. Yeah. So you have to make a decision. The decision is that look at the destination, what you want to achieve, and then where you are in your journey. That is why many companies, whenever we start with a discussion on a project charter. Project charter is something like, some sort of like a direction as to where you want to go to. It has the business case, the problem that you want to face, and maybe some milestone here and there, and then it has some information on the team members and all those things. Sad to say, there are not enough critical thinking being put through, and they just do the project charter as well. You want a project charter, so here you are. It's just a project charter, and I've commented on project charters many times, because it doesn't reflect as to what is the destination that you want to reach, and your milestone doesn't reflect the journey that you're going to go through. So I always tell people, if you want to start any projects, is that if you have any challenges that you face, say for example you are starting a project. Yeah, I will go into first starting the project, and the other one is you are in the middle of a project. If you are starting a project, then you have to spend some time thinking critically and strategically, looking at the destination of the projects that you are going to. Where does this project will take the company to? And be critical about how you, I wouldn't say word it, but content and context is more important. Because some people, I mean, especially C-level, sometimes being in that position, sometimes they have this thing called ego that is so huge that they're not able to learn new things. It becomes a blocker to new knowledge. I'm not saying they're not good. They are good. Functionally, they are good. But always remember that you use projects when things are complex. Yeah, one. I mean, if you refer to my previous episodes, there's only 3 conditions where you use your project management. One, there is a unique customer requirement. Then 2 is that it is constrained with resources. The other three is that the third one is where you are not able to do it alone. That means within the functional area, you are handicapped. You need to work cross-functionally. You need to work with people outside your functional area so that you are able to deliver the desired result. So a lot of the C level sometimes that I've met is that they are good in their own functional areas. They are good finance person, they are good IT person, they are good marketing person and all those things. But when you talk about cross-functional collaboration, it can be a huge challenge because first they don't know how. It's okay if you admit that you don't know how. We can go about and looking at the right intervention. But if you don't know how and you don't want to admit that you don't know how, then you have a problem. So I always advise project sponsors or project leaders and all those things. Sometimes tune down your ego, have a look at what is required out of you, especially in designing the project charter. Yeah, when you talk about the project charter, it's talking about the destination, trying to paint out the charter as to where you want to go in terms of the business direction, or what does this project will take you through. To. Yeah. And then the other part would be the journey. What are the small battles that you need to win or to lose so that you're able to achieve your destination? And many at times I see that people fail to socialize. When I talk about socialize here, it's not going out for coffee. Okay, going out for coffee, going out for drinks, going out for dinner, lunch, or whatever not. It is a way of socializing. But what is important here is that communicating the intent of the project to your stakeholders, to your various stakeholders, and managing the stakeholders is not an easy task. And without socializing your projects to those stakeholders, especially working cross-functionally, you're going to face a lot of problems. So to resolve this, because we talk about how we want to overcome these challenges. So we identify the challenges is one of the challenges is not enough buying in, or you have difficulty to work cross-functionally. So one of the way out is, number one, to be clear on the destination. Be clear on the destination. At the end of the day, we are doing this for this company. There's no personal gain. There's no individual gain. But the entity that is going to gain from this project is the organization. See, so you put the company first rather than individual self-interest first. Yeah, that's the painting out the destination. The second part would be socializing. You need to socialize, and I've said this many times to many project managers. The life of project managers, 80% to 90% of the effort involved in that you need to put in is communication. You need to communicate. There is no such thing as over communicating. The minute you under communicate, then you will have miscommunication. And I'm working on some projects now, and I'm seeing that that this organization that I'm coaching is going through that. Yeah, is going through that, and there are so many interpretation and perceptions being built by various stakeholders about the projects and the viability and the visibility of the projects. So never mind. As I said, I do what I preach. So I will send. I will send up a follow up communique. Yeah, to socialize further. Yeah, to socialize further, especially when we talk about working from home and working online and all those things. It can be also be one of the challenges, but what needs to be done needs to be done. Yeah. All right. So socializing your project charter is important. So set up a clear direction. This is in the case of, as I said, if you are starting the project. If you are starting the project, yeah, have a clear charter as to the destination where you want to go, and then socialize that charter with the various stakeholders, because you need to work cross-functionally with various stakeholders. Okay. Now, sometimes we don't have the luxury. Yeah, we don't have the luxury of starting the projects first time. And most of the project leaders that I've met, yeah, including me sometimes, yeah, not sometimes, most of the time, I inherited the project from somebody else. Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but sometimes they call me. Sometimes they call me the janitor because I clean other people's shit. All right. So what I'm trying to get at is that when you inherit a project, this is where you need to review back the project charter. A project doesn't have a proper charter. It's going to take its own direction. When it's going to take its own direction, you will leave the success to chance rather than to choice. So if you inherit a project, maybe, for example, I mean, looking at it from the positive side, yeah, the previous project owner or project sponsors or project leader quit the job or left the company, or was assigned to some other projects. On a good note, in good faith, you take it that okay, there is a project charter. So you have to revert back to the project charter and see what is the destination that you need to look at. I mean, what is the destination that this project is taking the company to? And then you have to look at whether it's still relevant or not, because this is where the destination is not carved in stone. Because if the project is a 6 months or 1 year project or 2 years projects, a 2 year project, the changes in the environment may not affect that project so much, unless you're talking about a multi-billion worth of dollar project, because the change in the political situation, the change in the economic condition will, like what the pandemic did. Pandemic hit even small and big projects. It does not matter whether you are big or small projects, the pandemic hits you. And the recent flood, I mean, a lot of countries are facing a lot of what you call that, unexpected unexpected weather changes, yeah, and more aggressive weather changes. So all those things will wipe. If you are flooded, then it wipe the whole thing off. You have to start from scratch because everything's lost in the snow or in the flood or in the drought or whatever not. Okay, but what we are trying to get at is that you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. When you want to make a decision, you have to look at the destination. If the destination is still relevant, then you proceed and look at what are the conflicts that you need to resolve. It can be a time conflict. It can be a resource or talent conflict. It can be a conflict between departments. It can be conflict between organization. Yeah. So you have to resolve that, and you have to make a decision. And this is where sometimes decision making is one of the critical skill in project leader. If you are not able to make decision, then you are not cut for the job. And this is what I said to some of the C-level, and sometimes they take it personally. I said, no, it's not that I'm hitting on you. I said that these are some of the competency that you may lack, especially in the project management space. You can make decisions within your own functional area, which you are good at. But the minute you move out from your functional space into a project world, is a different ball game altogether. Yeah. So you have to make a decision, and if the decision is for you to back down. If the decision for you to leave. If the decision for you to bulldoze, you bulldoze. But as I said, before you do all those things, you have to socialize. Go back to your project charter, which talk about destination and journey, socialize with the various stakeholders. And once you get the buying in, then it will be easier. Yeah, that is where you talk about if you take it halfway. Yeah, if you're taking the project halfway, and the project manager left because of in good faith, that there's not much issues or with the projects. However, if you are cleaning other people's, you know what, as I said earlier, I cannot say this too many times over the internet or over the air. If the issue is that somebody messed up the project, and you are here to clean up, then you have to make decisions. When you talk about decisions, first and foremost, always go back to the charter. We talk about destination and journey. Validate them. Validate with the relevant stakeholders. If it is relevant and still valid, then we take the other path. If it's no longer relevant, it's no longer valid, then you recommend the termination of the project. It's like cutting your losses. There's no point of hanging on to projects that is loss making, and under the premise of, because you want to leave a landmark, or you want to leave a mark in the organization. Yeah, you will leave a mark, a very deep cut in the pocket. So there are times where you have to say enough is enough. We're going to cut our losses, terminate the projects. Yeah, you have to make a decision. And how do you make that decision? It always goes back to the project charter, which state the content and context. That means the direction, the destination of the project. Yeah. Say for example, the project is in a mess. You inherited a project that is in a mess, and then it is still relevant. Yeah, and you need to put it in place. Then you talk about changing the journey. Yeah, because sometimes you have to go south to go north. So you have to look at what are the blockers, what are the things that is blocking, or the obstacles that is preventing you from moving forward. So when you identify those blockers, then you talk about removing those blockers. And again, as I said, you have to make decisions. As a project leader, as a project owner, as a project champion, as a project sponsor, you have to make decisions. You cannot run away from making decisions. And some decisions, the right decisions, are sometimes hard decisions. And usually, the hard decisions are the right decisions. Yeah, cool. So this is where when we talk about resolving the challenges that you face, you must be willing to make tough decisions. And tough decisions are usually the right decisions. And when you make a tough decisions, is that there will be consequences, and you have to live with the consequences of making that decisions. Okay, so that is a situation. Yeah, that is a situation that you are facing. And again, another example just quite recently that's happening. I don't have to mention the company. Yeah, the company is in the creative industry. They are in entertainment business. Yeah, and they have a lot of events, shows. Yeah, that they're putting up. Yeah, there are a lot of shows and events they are putting up. Now, a lot of this creative industry, I know a few of my friends are in that industry. During the pandemic, they suffer really hard, really bad, because everything is locked down. There's no way for them to do their gig, shows. All the bookings got cancelled and all those things. So it is they're being hit hard. But what I'm trying to get at is that during the pandemic, when the business is bad, you start trying to cut your expenses. In reducing the expenses, you lay off some people. Yeah, you lay off some people, and I was fortunate. A couple of years ago, somebody was asking me how to resolve this high cost that is occurring within a particular company. I said, because they were talking about resizing or right sizing or whatever sizing they call it. I mean, people like to use all these terms, but at the end of the day, they want to fire people. All right. So when they said, okay, they want to reduce the number of staff, I said, okay, fine. Which staff are you looking at? If you're reducing the low level staff, you will reduce them by numbers, by hundreds, or maybe by thousands. But always remember that the person that is sitting on top, that means the senior management, they are clocking maybe the salary of 10 or 15 of those low ranking staff. So if you want to talk about cost cutting, cost saving, or whatever thing that got to do with the cost, before you look down, look at your same level first. Then I said to them, you have to leave to a C level, or you take a pay cut to help resolve. But the thing is, they don't want to take pay cut. They still remain employed with a hefty pay, with all the perks that comes with the job, and they are removing the lower level. That is where sometimes I said, your decision making go haywire. Yeah. Because I myself personally, I have recommended shutting down my own department way back. I think about 15 years ago. I was running a department, and the because of the changes in the organization, and the department is no longer, I would say, relevant, and it becomes redundant. And I said, okay, I'm shutting down. I'm shutting down my department. And then when during the budget meeting, everybody was shocked. People were saying, everybody is crying for resources, asking for more people, asking to set up more. You need more department, more whatever not. And you are the only one who said, I'm coming here. My budget presentation is that I want to propose the shutting down of my department. So, of course, it becomes a talk of the town. But you have to do what you have to do. And you have to make tough decisions. And tough decisions are usually the right decisions. So this is where, as I was saying in my previous example case just now, during the prime time, during the good time, you have so many stuff. When you're hit with pandemic, when you have not many events, not many shows and all those things, you start cutting down the stuff. All right. Then post-pandemic, when it comes with post-pandemic, when things starts opening up, you start having all this gig, you start having all these events, you start having all these shows. The thing is, you have to start recruiting slowly the number of people to support the events or the show. You cannot just rely purely on the same number of people that you were running on during the pandemic, because you have cut, say for example, you cut half of the workforce, and you are relying on this first half, and you talk about the strict compliance of the Ministry of Health. That means everybody must go for a COVID test and all those things before you even work on a particular event or a particular show or a particular gig. Now, say for example, during one gig, out of that 50%, a quarter was tested positive. So you are left with 3/4 team to run the show. right? While this one is going through quarantine and whatever, not you have a quarter. And then the next show you're going to go through, another quarter tested positive. So you're left with half of the half. How do you expect to run the show? And you have multiple show, multiple programs, multiple events that you're going to run. And this is what I was saying to my friend, yeah, in who's in this industry. So I said you have to start recruiting people so that uh, the gig, the show, whatever, not can still go on with even with all these things, and then you start using your you have to rework your scheduling, as I said. Before pandemic, people are using BAU. You have a simple rostering or scheduling of resources. During pandemic, everything goes topsy-turvy. Then post-pandemic, I believe many organizations are having a team A and team B. When team A work, team B rest. When team B work, team A rest. So they don't mix, so that they don't have any close contact and all those things, so that it doesn't result with more infection and all those things. But if you are not, if you're putting all those things, that means you are not working using the new uh, model, new management model. As I said, you are not using the new management model. You still use the same old management model, working on the new management business model, then it doesn't work. And you will have a lot of cancellation, you have a lot of things that you cannot deliver. So same goes with projects. With this current situation that you are in, and people need to come to the office, and I know many organization, they have different teams working for a different day, so that so that they don't have the same people in the office throughout the whole 1 week. And they have a duration where, or time, downtime for them to sanitize the building, or sanitize the workplace. Because the situation that we're in now today requires a new rethinking in the way we are managing. So that's where we talk about the new management model to support the business model. Yeah. So when you talk about project management, it's no different. Yeah. Uh, excuse me. Okay, sorry about that. Something got in the throat. Okay, so what I was saying is that project management is no of no difference. The challenges that you face is the same. So now you have to make decisions, and the decision had to be um, relevant. Excuse me again. Yeah. Back. Welcome back. I'm sorry. Just need to clear my throat off. Okay. Uh, so when you talk about challenges that you face, how do you overcome that? Is that you have to make tough decisions, and when you talk about making tough decisions, and you have to look at what are the challenges that you face. If you talk about resource, you have to work around the constraint that you are facing, yeah, and then see how you want to go about managing those resources, so that you have enough talent, enough equipment, enough machines, enough facilities for you to continue to deliver. And sometimes you use a different, totally out of this world approach, where you talk about being disruptive. So you disrupt the disruptions. And that's where some of the people in the industry, but now very comfortable working hybrid, they no longer want to go back to the office. Yeah, they find that it's more productive by working from home, and that's why I've shared this earlier. a study in Italy says that 75% to 80% of the workforce are now going to remain working from home because they find that it's more productive in terms of delivering the results. Yeah. Okay. So overcoming it, there's no way that you can run away from making decisions. But before you make the decisions, always look at the destination and what are the journey involved. So you need to look at the whole big picture in terms of the road to success. I call it RTS, road to success. Road to success in achieving the destination. What are the small battles or small things that projects, sub-projects or activities that you need to complete? Then, where are the blockers? And for you to identify the blockers and when you want to remove the blockers, you need to make decisions. And as I said, if you want to make decisions, socialize with the stakeholders first. Make sure that everybody is on the same page. When the stakeholders are on the same page, they are with you, then they will be supporting you in making the necessary changes. Okay? All right. With that, I would like to end the masterclass. And if there's any question, so far there's no question being raised. And let me check my Telegram because I've also posted my Telegram link. And I guess people are still enjoying their holiday because it's a long weekend. Yeah, long weekend here in Malaysia. And before we call it a night, I I would like to take this opportunity, to wish all my Chinese viewers, 恭喜发财, 新年快乐, meaning to say that happy Chinese New Year, and hope that the year of tiger, will bring us more wealth, health, and prosperity. And then my last word is that please be vigilant of the cases that we are currently facing. I think it's increasing, and follow the SOP. Make sure that we are together. We are together to not contribute to the number of cases. Excuse me. To the number of cases in Malaysia. Okay, I think I better call it a night now. With that, I thank you. Please take care.
Thank you, everyone. Next time.